Hey there, Internet friends. Trevor Starkey here with another episode of Wrestling Wednesday. Of course, with the road to WrestleMania in full swing and Elimination Chamber coming up this weekend, I'm going to just run through my Elimination Chamber predictions. As of recording here on Wednesday afternoon, there are very few matches, so I'm sure that if the card gets updated with some pre-show bouts and stuff by Sunday, I'll add those into the mix. But as of now, here's what is listed for Elimination Chamber, and my predictions are as follows. Up first, we have the Women's Elimination Chamber match, and so when I'm approaching this one, I'm trying to figure out what's going to be the most interesting stories going into WrestleMania. Asuka's a lock going in there, but we don't know who she's going to face. And the rumor seems to be that she's going to go off against Charlotte from SmackDown instead, which could leave the Raw division here wide open. So they don't really seem to have any interest in pushing the Absolution team, with Paige's injury kind of keeping her sidelined and their faction's momentum basically nothing. I don't think they're going to give it to Mickie either, so that leaves Sasha, Bayley, and Alexa retaining. And I think here they're going to go ahead and pull Sasha turning heel, or even maybe like Bayley turning heel, although I don't think they'd do that. I think Bayley's merch probably sells too well for her to be going heel. So I think Sasha will turn heel instead of a match between Sasha and Bayley at WrestleMania. And Alexa will sneak away with the win, kind of taking advantage of that chaos. So I think Alexa sneaks away with the win here in the first ever Elimination Chamber match. Also maybe as like a consolation for, hey, you were the title holder, so you didn't get to take part in the first ever Royal Rumble match. Up next, I have Asuka versus Nia Jax, and I don't actually think this is going to happen because Asuka's streak has been built up so much, but this is how I would book it, so I'm going to go ahead and make it my prediction too. Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax is the WrestleMania story that they've been planting the seeds for all year, and the stipulation here is that if Nia Jax wins, she gets that shot at WrestleMania. So I think Nia wins here. Asuka has never officially declared for the Raw Women's title, so you have Nia winning and Alexa retaining in the previous match, setting up those two at WrestleMania. Asuka has to lose sometime, so might as well make it here, give Nia that push, and let Asuka go and challenge Charlotte instead for the SmackDown title. So that also has the added benefit of Asuka going into WrestleMania as a beaten person. So she's not, it's not a foregone conclusion that she's going to walk out of WrestleMania having beaten Charlotte in that instance. So it actually, makes the stakes actually there instead of just, well, it's going to be another person sacrificed to Asuka. Asuka has to lose sometime, and I don't think they're going to hold out until Ronda Rousey is like a solid enough wrestler to make that happen. So give it to Nia here and let Nia face off against Alexa Bliss at WrestleMania. Again, I don't think that's actually going to happen. I think Asuka's streak is going to continue here, but for the prediction, I'm going to go with Nia, even if it's going to cost me another meal at Portillo's to Cameron. Not really a prediction for the sake of like any kind of point count, but I think in the Ronda Rousey contract signing segment, I imagine it'll be Stephanie and Kurt there while Ronda signs. Ronda will basically pick a fight with Steph. Triple H will come down, and it'll basically set up the Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle versus Triple H and Stephanie at a tag team there. A tag team match there for WrestleMania, and that has the added benefit of finally tying up the loose end of Triple H and Kurt Angle and their kind of little showdown at Survivor Series when Triple H pedigreed him out of nowhere, even though they were on the same team. Up next, I have Woken Matt Hardy versus Bray Wyatt, and Bray took the win clean at the 25th anniversary of Raw, so I'm going to assume that we're going to get the return of Jeff Hardy here, probably in the Brother Nero guise, that is part of the Broken Woken universe. He was at the 25th anniversary show, but it was more of like a backstage, behind-the-scenes kind of treat for the poor crowd that had to suffer through the rest of the Manhattan Center nothingness. So I think with Brother Nero's help, Matt will take the win here and potentially set up some kind of final deletion / House of Horrors match at WrestleMania. There's nothing on the card, but in going through the existing card, it's 4 matches, so I got to imagine they're going to do some kind of tag team match, whether it's Sheamus and Cesaro coming out and defending the Raw tag team titles, or just a non-title match or something, maybe between the Balor Club and the Revival again. They got to do something tag related, so that the pay-per-view isn't just 4 matches, I imagine. 2 Elimination Chambers and 2 singles matches. So they got to do something tag team related, at least in the pre-show or something. I don't know what it's going to be, but if it gets announced between now and Sunday, I'll add it into my predictions when I post them on Sunday for the summary. Then finally, we have the 7-man Elimination Chamber match, which I got to imagine Roman is winning, because the talk all year has been setting up Lesnar versus Roman at WrestleMania. And you also had Roman as the first man eliminated from the Gauntlet match, so I got to imagine they were doing that to keep him rested here. Maybe this will go a long, crazy hour-plus long thing, and they'll have... The good thing for them to do would be to have Roman start in the match against The Miz and go the distance, have him be the one that survives all the way through. It won't get him over because that ship has long sailed, but it will at least make some kind of story sense for why he could eventually be the one who topples Lesnar, because he was able to topple all these other stars. So the real question is how they're going to handle Strowman, I think, because he seems like the cartoonishly unbeatable force. I imagine he's going to beat The Miz pretty quickly, and set up maybe a future Intercontinental match between the two of them at WrestleMania. And then probably everybody else ends up getting into the match eventually, and they dogpile on Strowman to pin him, and then once he's gone, they can kind of continue with the rest of the match. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, ultimately I think Roman's going to take it and be the inevitable face-off against Lesnar at WrestleMania. So there you have it. I'm sure these are the predictions that will ultimately lead to Cameron getting free Portillos from me come Fastlane. But let me know what your predictions are in the comments below. As always, I've been your host, Trevor Starkey from TrevorTrove.com. You can follow me at SnarkyStarkey on Twitter. And until next time, from here at the Trove, treasure your friends.